Hello everyone and welcome back to another video brought to you by Student Express. We make these videos so that you can stress less. Today is Unit 2 of AP European History, and we'll be looking at the Age of Reformation, a pivotal point in the turning of Europe coming out of the medieval age and into a more modern era. We're looking at things like the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther, and how that reshaped European politics, society, and culture between the dates of 1450 and 1648. This period marks the breakdown of religious unity in Europe and the rise of some new ideas about authority, individual belief, and the power of the state. So, let's get some context first. The late medieval church was very powerful. It was basically the glue that held together most of Europe during the medieval age. They had a lot of power, but was also deeply criticized for corruption. There were things like indulgences, which was the priests selling forgiveness of sins. There was simony, which is people buying into church offices, and nepotism, which led many people to question whether the church still reflected true Christian values. And at the same time, Renaissance humanism encouraged people to think for themselves and return to original sources, and the Gutenberg printing press really allowed for this, as we mentioned in the last video. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. This combination of Renaissance and access to biblical sources created the perfect environment for reform. Martin Luther really launched the Protestant Reformation in 1517 when he posted the 95 Theses, which attacked the sale of indulgences and the authority of the Pope. His key message was that salvation should come from faith alone, and that the Bible, not church officials, is the ultimate religious authority. Luther refused to back down at the Diet of Worms when his ideas spread quickly thanks to the printing press. The Catholic Church sought for him to recant these ideas, and which he didn't. And thus they excommunicated him, and eventually, through things like the Peace of Augsburg, which we will get to later, allowed German princes to choose between Catholicism and Lutheranism, officially breaking religious unity in the Holy Roman Empire, and thus Europe. After Luther, Reformation ideas spread across Europe in different forms. John Calvin was one who, in Geneva, emphasized predestination and a strict moral discipline, predestination being that the fate of a person, if they go to heaven or hell, is predetermined by God. Strict moral discipline influenced regions like Scotland and the Netherlands specifically. In England, the Reformation was very political at first. Henry VIII, famous for the many wives he took, broke away from Rome to form the Anglican Church. His wife, he believed, couldn't give him a male heir, so he wanted a divorce. The Pope didn't allow it, so he made his own church. And after Henry VIII, under Elizabeth I, England settled into a moderate Protestantism that blended old and new practices. And thus the Catholic Church really responded with its own major reform movement, known as the Counter-Reformation. At the Council of Trent, the Church reaffirmed its doctrine: faith and good works, the authority of the Pope, are all needed for salvation, but also tried to fix some of the corruption. They took these accusations seriously. Also, the Jesuits became one of the most effective forces for spreading Catholicism through education and missions. This was founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola. And also, there was kind of a trend towards Baroque art within the Catholic sphere, which helped inspire emotional devotion and strengthen Catholic identity during this period. These religious divisions didn't stay peaceful for very long. France experienced one of the first ones, a long series of conflicts between the Catholics and the noble Huguenots. This was known as the French Wars of Religion. Eventually, it was resolved by the Edict of Nantes, which granted religious toleration to Protestants. The biggest conflict, however, was the 30 Years' War, this huge conflict that spanned multiple countries. It devastated much of the Holy Roman Empire. It started with the defenestration of Prague, as vividly depicted in the top right image. A wonderful depiction of a man being shoved out a window for being Catholic. And on the bottom is the window that he was thrown out of. The 30 Years' War ended with the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, which recognized Calvinism and marked a major shift toward political, not religious authority, guiding European states. The Reformation fundamentally changed European society. It weakened the power of the Catholic Church and strengthened the power of secular rulers. Thanks to the printing press, more Europeans had access to religious texts, increasing literacy and encouraging personal interpretation of faith. And at the end, here's our multiple choice practice. So I'll go through the question and then go ahead and pause the video and put down your answer, and then I'll go through them. So, with the first one, which of the following most directly challenged the authority of the papacy? Is it A, the Council of Trent, B, the Peace of Augsburg, C, the 95 Theses, or D, the Index of Forbidden Books? Go ahead and pause the video if you need to think. The correct answer is C, the 95 Theses. So let's go through them. For A, the Council of Trent, this was a council that was formed by the Catholic Church in order to strengthen and reaffirm its own doctrine and point out the flaws within the system of the Catholic Church. This wasn't anything that challenged the authority of the papacy. It was formed by the papacy, really strengthened the authority. So this is not the correct answer. B, the Peace of Augsburg, however, is a little bit more tricky. You think that might be a good answer because it did allow religious tolerance to Protestants, allowing people to move away from the Catholic Church. But if we look at the other answers, there's a much better answer than that. And for the last wrong answer, we'll look at D. D was something we didn't talk about in this video, but is part of the Catholic Church's attempt to kind of contain the spread of Catholicism. It put together a index of books that were forbidden to be read by Catholics. So again, not anything that challenges the authority of the papacy, it really strengthens it. And of course, the correct answer is the 95 Theses, a direct accusation of all the wrongdoings of the church, and it's a direct challenge to the authority of the papacy. This is a pretty clear-cut answer. So the next multiple choice question we have is, Peace of Westphalia resulted in which of the following? Is it A, reassertion of papal authority, B, legal recognition of Calvinism, C, end of monarchy in France, or D, creation of the Anglican Church? Give you a few seconds to answer. The correct answer would be B. Let's go through them. So, A, the reassertion of papal authority, is not entirely correct. The Peace of Westphalia was what ended the 30 Years' War. It really kind of struck a blow to the Catholic Church because it gave recognition of other faiths. So, not really a reassertion of papal authority, kind of a weakening of it. C, the end of monarchy in France. Although France was involved in the 30 Years' War, it did not end the monarchy in France. The monarchy in France would continue until the French Revolution, and there will be monarchies in France even after that. So this is not the correct answer. D, the creation of the Anglican Church. This was already created, I believe, before the 30 Years' War ended. So, again, not a correct answer. The correct answer is B. The Peace of Westphalia resulted in the legal recognition of many faiths, many different Protestant faiths, notably Lutheranism and Calvinism. And so the last multiple choice question practice I have prepared is number 3. The Jesuits' main goal was to blank. Was it A, convert Protestants back to Catholicism, B, reform papal authority, C, spread Lutheran teachings, or D, challenge monarchical power? Give you a few seconds to answer. The correct answer would be A. Let's go through them. So starting with B, again, this is one of the answers that you think might be correct. The Jesuits did seem to reaffirm papal authority by drawing people back into the fold of Catholicism, but the thing you gotta look for here is you gotta read the questions carefully, especially in AP-style exams. Their main goal was not to reaffirm papal authority. So that would not be correct. Looking at C, the Jesuits were Catholic. They were not Lutheran, so spreading Lutheran teachings wouldn't make any sense for them. So that is not the correct answer. D, challenging monarchical power. The Jesuits really didn't care too much about politics in that way. They didn't care about the style of governance, so that would not be a correct answer either. The correct answer is, of course, A. Converting Protestants back to Catholicism was their main goal. They would institute many universities where they'd teach not only Catholic doctrine, but also different sciences and languages. Their main goal was to educate people, and part of that was part of converting people back to Catholicism. And so that is all I've got for you all today. Good luck studying, and I'll see you on Unit 3. Should be a fun one. Take care, everyone.